Picture this for a second. You walk into a crowded room and every single person around you is speaking English. Now, you actually know some words, right? But suddenly, this overwhelming wave of pressure just washes over you, and your mind completely blanks. Your mouth literally refuses to move. You catch a little bit of what's being said, but that fear, it just feels so much bigger than the language itself. Listen, if you have ever felt that paralyzing silence, you are in exactly the right place. Welcome to This Explainer.
So let's get one very simple truth out of the way right now. English is not some kind of special inborn talent. It has absolutely nothing to do with raw intelligence, and it is definitely not magic. English is, pure and simple, repetition. Every single fluent speaker you hear out there, they were once a total beginner too. So let's dive into this, because today, literally, right from this exact moment, your real journey to fluency is going to begin.
All right, moving into Section 1, the biggest language mistake, and exactly why we quit.
Think about it. Why do so many of our past attempts end in total frustration? Like, why do we throw in the towel after just 3 days? Well, it's usually because we start by cracking open these massive, heavy grammar books. Seriously, books heavy enough you could probably use them as gym weights. We end up staring at all these complex tenses, strict rules, and formulas that look more like math than a conversation. We put this immense, crushing pressure on ourselves to be perfect instantly, and eventually that pressure just builds and builds until, bam, we just drop the book entirely.
Here's the thing. Language is absolutely not learned through pressure. It's actually learned by natural exposure. Your brain is wired to learn a new language the exact same way a little kid does, just natural, relaxed, entirely pressure-free exposure. It's like soaking it up like a sponge, rather than cramming it in for a test.
You see, there's a very specific, natural progression your brain wants to follow here. First, hearing, then understanding, then speaking, and finally, and I mean coming in absolute last here, is grammar. Traditional classroom methods, they totally flip this backwards, which causes all that immense anxiety we talked about. Actually, scratch that. It causes sheer panic. To fix this, we absolutely have to start with just hearing and speaking first.
Which brings us to Section 2, the power of small words, and today's actual mission. Today, we are going to completely lift that heavy burden off your shoulders. You are going to start learning real English using just a few small, simple words. We're not talking about stiff textbook English. We're talking about the actual living language people use every single day. Let's start with hello. It's just one word, sure, but it carries incredible weight. It's basically a master key. It opens doors to new conversations, new friendships, jobs, and just incredible new opportunities. Having the courage to just say, hello, how are you? Or, hello, my name is. That is the very first step through that door. And then we have yes. Now, this is the ultimate word of agreement and confidence. When you say, yes, I can do it, or yes, I am ready, you aren't just answering a question. You are actively projecting readiness and capability to the entire world around you. It's a real bridge builder of a word. But hey, please don't underestimate the word no either. It is a surprisingly powerful little word. You know, sometimes the absolute strongest people in a room are the ones who know exactly when to say no. Simple phrases like, no thank you, or no problem, allow you to set your boundaries clearly, but still keep things perfectly polite. Okay, before we jump into practicing, I really need you to remember this crucial rule. English is not about speaking fast. At all. It is about speaking clearly. I see so many learners hit the panic button because they can't speak at lightning speed. Listen to me. You do not need speed to sound impressive. Speaking slow, clear, deliberate English, it sounds incredibly powerful and confident. For sure. Let's look at Section 3, the shadowing technique. and how we are training your brain.
So, I'm going to share a secret tool with you today. It's a method used by highly successful language learners all over the globe called shadowing. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's simply repeating a word or phrase immediately after you hear it. Not tomorrow, not 10 minutes from now, but immediately. If you think about it scientifically, you're treating your mouth exactly like muscles in a gym. Every single time you immediately repeat a piece of English, your brain is physically creating brand new neural pathways. And the more you repeat, the stronger that pathway gets. So, fluency, it's just a product of brain training. It's not magic.
So let's train those mental muscles together right now. I want you to shadow me. Seriously, say it out loud right wherever you are sitting or standing. Repeat after me. Hello. Go ahead, say it out loud. Okay, let that settle. Feel how that word physically feels in your mouth. Great job. Now let's try a slightly longer phrase just to stretch that muscle a bit more. Repeat after me. Hello, how are you? Say it out loud. Excellent. All right, let's do one more to completely lock in that confidence we talked about. Repeat after me. Yes, I can. Try it. Perfect. Seriously, you are actively building those new neural pathways right this very second. How cool is that? Moving right along to section 4, overcoming fear of mistakes, or as I like to call it, slaying the dragon. Why do you think so many people get entirely paralyzed by the English language? Well, it's usually because they think looking embarrassing when speaking is like the ultimate failure. But think about this for a second. A little child makes literally thousands of mistakes before they start speaking correctly, and nobody laughs at them, right? So why on earth should you fear making mistakes? Let's reframe this entirely. Mistakes are not embarrassing failures, absolutely not. They are absolute, undeniable proof that learning is actively taking place. Let me share a quick story with you about a boy who couldn't speak. Now, he understood almost nothing in English. Whenever someone asked him a question, his heart would just start pounding out of his chest, and he'd stay completely silent, totally frozen in fear. But one day, he decided to just start with one single sentence. Hello. And then another day, my name is. And slowly, day by day, that massive fear just faded away. And here's the kicker. It wasn't because his grammar magically became perfect overnight. It was simply because he found the courage to stop being afraid of messing up. Which brings us to our final part today. Section 5, Rules for Day 1. This is your call to adventure. We need to set some firm, completely non-negotiable guidelines so this awesome new habit of yours can really take root. So here are your 5 golden rules. Number 1, never translate every word in your head. It just slows you down. Number 2, listen daily. Number 3, speak loudly and proudly. Number 4, repeat again and again. And number 5, and honestly, this is the most crucial one of all, consistency beats intelligence. Showing up to practice every single day matters infinitely more than whatever your natural intelligence level is. So, with all that said, here is your very first official homework assignment. Right after this explainer wraps up, I want you to speak these specific words and phrases out loud 10 times. Hello. How are you? My name is, and obviously insert your own name there. Yes, no, thank you. It's just a really concrete, simple list for you to practice immediately so we can get those brain pathways forming. And trust me, you are definitely going to want to practice because the next step of our journey together is huge. Soon, we're going to cover exactly how to have your very first full English conversation. We'll learn all the vital basics, words like I, you, we, they. And for the very first time, you are going to start actually thinking in English rather than just speaking it. It's an absolute game changer. Just remember this as we wrap things up today.
You do not need ridiculously expensive, high-end courses. You absolutely do not need perfect textbook grammar. You only need one thing: to just continue. One day, this language that seems so scary to you right now will become your absolute greatest power. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If fluency is simply a choice to repeat rather than retreat, what will you choose to say next? Because this is day one, and your new life has officially started.